Oh boy, yet another new Netflix slop has arrived right on time as per usual. Judging by the trailers for this one, good god, it looks like Netflix may have another cuties situation on their hands. I mean, haven't they learned their lesson by now? Just look at these clips. This is some sick stuff. I wonder what twisted individual would make movies like this. Oh god. Oh god. No. No. Genndy, the same guy who created such iconic animated shows like Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai fucking Jack.
Extra thick!
I mean, okay, granted, the guy also did Primal, which is a little more adult, but at least that show is peak. Oh my god, look at the rest of his filmography. He even directed the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Aha, Jonathan, you are banging my dog!
What compels a man to make a movie like this? Did the guy have a mental breakdown or something? The very concept of this movie alone made me morbidly curious to check this out. It doesn't help that it's created by Sony Animation, who, while, yes, have had a good few stinkers in the past with the Emoji Movie, and hell, I heard that new Smurfs movie is pretty god-awful as well. But they've also been pumping out so much peak in the past few years with K-pop Demon Hunters this year, and most famously, the last two Spider-Verse movies. I have to get to the bottom of this. Let me turn on Netflix, grab my bottle of hard liquor, and see what this movie is all about. Well, I'm probably on some list after watching that, bro. What in the fuck? I guess I have some explaining to do. Fixed is an 2D animated adult comedy. I say comedy with the most massive quotation marks possible. The movie centers around a dog who's been neutered and has 24 hours to squeeze in one last balls to the wall adventure with the boys. At least that's what the letterbox description entails. What this movie actually is a dog trying to fuck. And that's meant to be the entire joke of the movie, along with other jokes in this thing, which, trust me, I'll get to. We're just gonna get one of these every year now. In 2023, we were treated with the movie Strays, which was another insult to cinema. That movie was a mix of live action and CGI, which is meant to emulate the style of movies that were coming out in the late 2000s and the early 2010s, so already the novelty was pretty old. This movie tries to reel you in with the promise of it being 2D animated, which if you go anywhere on the internet, you'll see a plethora of people clamoring for in the animation world. While yes, it's great that movies like Spider-Verse and others that followed it have tried to splice 2D and 3D animation, some people still crave just the usual standard 2D animation, which when done well can obviously look really great. Unfortunately here, everything else about the movie exists. I don't even know where to start with this one. I guess I'll start with the performances, if you can even call them that. I don't want to be too harsh in saying that, of course, as voice acting is just as valid as any other form of acting. The main character is voiced by Adam DeVine, who's mainly known for comedy. He's been in the Pitch Perfect movies and the TV show Workaholics. I never really considered this guy to ever lead a movie, if I'm honest. He always gives off the vibe of being a side character usually, especially being a comedic relief. But some brave producer really thought this guy had the main guy energy, and fuck me, does it not work here. I guess for the way the character looks, his voice suits it to a degree, but on closer inspection, you could even get someone like a Danny DeVito type character to play this role.
I dropped my monster condom that I used for my Magnum Dom.
DeVine's voice is exceptionally annoying, as he does a lot of really expressive overacting throughout the entire runtime of this. His voice every now and then can get pretty high pitched to a degree where it just gets really grating to listen to. His character is also just really unlikable, which is more down to the script obviously, but again he's good at being a dick because I really hated the guy, or dog in this case.
What the dog doing?
Idris Elba is in this too. Yes, that's Idris Elba from movies like Prometheus and Pacific Rim. There isn't really too much to talk about with his character here, honestly. I think the writers sometimes think the joke in itself is that Elba is voicing this character. You know how idiots on Twitter will talk about actors in certain roles recently and say they're going through some sort of satanic humiliation ritual in Hollywood, which obviously is stupid, but goddamn, I kind of believe it in this case. His whole character trait is just being the stoic one of the group of dogs, and every now and then they throw in a joke about him having mommy issues, which is just, what in the fuck?
Goo goo gaga, I want milk.
The writers must think this contrast is hilarious. I will admit, I think there was one line in total that made me slightly smile, but it was only simply down to Elba's line delivery, which which again, I think is meant to elevate the line, which is just so fucking cheap when you think about it. Other voice roles include the likes of Kathryn Hahn from WandaVision. She's meant to be the love interest for DeVine's dog character. She isn't really given all that much to do here though. Fred Armisen is another voice of one of the main floor dogs, and it sounds like he's just here for a paycheck. Like, it doesn't sound like he's fully phoning it in, but I mean, God, have you seen his filmography? If there's any sort of comedy movie, the guy is just itching to snag it up. During the credits, they mention a bunch of voice actors credited as providing additional voices, including Josh Keaton, the voice of my perfect Pookie Spectacular Spider-Man. I know times are tough, man, but fuck, you're better than this. Now we're never getting another season.
For the love of God! Please!
Seeing how many people put this on the resume is hurting. Let's talk about something else. I wish I could transition and talk about another movie, but no, we're stuck here. I guess I have to talk about the question mark to iterate how bad this movie is. I'll go through some scenes to express how horrific they are while also going through the story beats. So with that being said, I will be delving into some spoiler territory, so if for some mind-boggling reason you actually want to check this out, I'd recommend skipping ahead in the video now. So the movie starts with Bull as a pup getting adopted by a family who we never see the faces of. We never see the faces of any of the humans in this movie, which I guess evokes the feeling of watching Dexter's Lab, where they never showed the mom's face, even though we all know she was a baddie. I mean, damn! Bull gets adopted, and there's a time jump where we find him.
Oh, Dada!
Oh, yeah, look at that. He's just fucking the shit out of that old lady's leg. So not only is this animal abuse, but it's elder abuse too. Cool. The dad of the family stops him, and so he proceeds to fuck every item in the house, as he, quote, has to finish. Yeah, this is really one of the first impressions we get of this character and the type of humor this movie has. After this, Bull meets up with his pack, where one of them by the name of Lucky proceeds to just eat a piece of shit. This scene goes on for a minute straight. I'm not kidding. What are we doing here? Next in the movie, we see a bunch of other dogs who are being brought to the park, and the only things they say genuinely are stuff like pee-pee and poo-poo. The movie's other jokes devolves into characters quite literally saying pee-pee and poo-poo. Oh my god. That's one of the biggest issues about this movie for me. It claims to be an adult comedy, but the movie has the most basic juvenile humor I've ever seen. The joke here is sex. The joke here is shit. It's the type of humor that a 14-year-old would find funny. Hell, maybe even younger people would find funny. But because there's a bunch of swearing and sex jokes, this thing actually claims to be a movie for sophisticated, mature adults. Ah yes, because this should be the standard for adult animation, not things like, oh, I don't know, King of the Hill or hell, even fucking South Park has more nuance than this bullshit. Anyway, back to the story, if you can call it that. When Bull gets home, his family lets him do whatever he wants until he's brought to a toilet bowl filled with Kool-Aid. Up until this point already, Bull is fucking stupid.
You stupid!
Because in the scene before, he was literally told by other dogs, this is what starts before their owners trick them into getting neutered, so you'd think he would at least be a little suspicious. It's also weird how the movie basically promotes owners abusing their animals, as we see the dad forcefully making Bull drink the Kool-Aid even though he clearly doesn't want to. Most of the rest of the runtime follows Bull running away from home, and he eventually meets up with his friends as they take on the big city while getting up into hijinks. Oh my god, it's just like The Wild. Do you guys remember The Wild, the Disney movie with Kiefer Sutherland as a lion? Comment down below if you want me to review The Wild, guys. My biggest issue with this movie is a scene where there's no easy way of putting it. So the pack go to what is meant to be a club, I suppose, which is filled with dog strippers and a whole dog orgy, complete with a dog sticking a bone up another dog's ass. They felt the need to do a close-up on this. What? This movie is made for the worst type of gooners possible. I don't even think furries would get a kick out of this. Something that rubbed me the wrong way is in this scene we're introduced to a dog called Frankie, who is voiced by River Gallo. For those of you who don't know, Gallo is a intersex actor, and so they make the dog character intersex too. It's pretty funny because at first I actually thought the character was voiced by Nick Kroll of all people, doing a funny accent. I mean, I would hope Gallo took the role for this thinking it was good representation representation, maybe. It's good to see representation in any form of media, as long as it's done right, but there's times where it feels like the character was simply kind of just written to be a joke. The last act of this movie centers around Bull trying to make amends with Kathryn Hahn's character after he gets caught fucking another dog. Very funny, I know. He does this by confessing his love to her, all the while he is taking one for the team, shall we say. Yeah, he basically gets raped by another dog, and for some reason this dog just doesn't notice. He has his eyes closed the whole time, and the joke is meant to be that he's too in love with himself to notice, but I feel like you'd be able to tell the difference. I mean, I obviously wouldn't know because I'm not a dog myself, contrary to popular belief. Wow, yeah, so that's pretty much the whole plot. Besides the disturbing content of the movie, it's really just fucking generic, which I think is somehow a worse offender. It's trying to be a more adult version of The Secret Life of Pets. It looks like it has a similar characters going from point A to point B type of plot, which sometimes can be pretty hard to nail down and be creative with. Sometimes, all the while throughout this runtime, we are greeted with the movie's other big offender. The comedy in this movie is terrible. Aside from the aforementioned sex jokes and piss and shit humor, there's another aspect to the humor which is not only got old pretty fast, but was just so incredibly weak. There are points in the movie where dogs will do things that dogs do, which will cause DeVine's character to go on this fake deep monologue as he questions why dogs do these things, even though he is also a dog. You know, I thought at first this was going to lead into DeVine's character eventually having some mental breakdown, which would then have him maybe lead into some shitty fourth wall break. And no, this is just something that he does over and over again, and it's never funny. It's basically the equivalent of overexplaining a lot of jokes in the movie. It bordered on fucking Family Guy humor. They overexplain the jokes so much.
Peter, the horse is here.
Holy
None of the humor ever works here. I actually don't understand how anyone would get enjoyment out of these, and if I ever find someone that does like it, I feel like it would be my duty to kill them on sight. For legal reasons, that's obviously a joke. I would probably kill them like in Call of Duty or something. Wow, I'm being pretty negative in this video, huh? That'll do well for views, but surely there must be some positives with this movie, right? Like I said, the animation in this movie incorporates 2D animation, which is drawn in the style of stuff like Samurai Jack, which is what the director is known for. There are times where some of the facial expressions the characters make reminds me of some of the quirks the characters do in Hotel Transylvania as well. That sort of stretchy, bouncy style of animation, like they've no bones in their body, which I wish they did more with this. Like, they could have put in some more physical comedy. That would have required like 5 extra minutes of thinking for the writers of this thing. However, there isn't much else I could say about the animation. It is really good, sometimes even great, and it's the only thing that really kept my eyes glued to the screen, which unfortunately resulted in me witnessing some horrors that would probably make Am have a fucking hernia.
I feel the feelings of this micro instant. Feel.
What else is good about this thing? Oh, I know, the music. I thought the music in this was actually pretty good a lot of the time. It features a lot of pretty great licensed music. Weirdly enough, including the song Lucky Day. You brain-rotted individuals may know it as the song Love Da Day. Apart from a bunch of these tracks sprinkled throughout, there was also an original score composed for this movie too. The music was composed by Tyler Bates, who, get this, done music for movies like Pearl, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the John Wick movies. What are you doing, bro? I'll give him this. The music here is pretty good. Most of the time, they're pretty laid-back, jazzy tracks mixed with some more fast-paced tunes in the same genre. It honestly made the scenes a lot more engaging because, yes, what may be happening on screen is an assault to the eyes, but damn, at least the music's pretty fire, huh? I think that's all I can say about this movie. It's genuinely baffling how this got made. I wonder if Sony is locked in some curse where if they bring out some peak, they have to contrast it with a giant pile of shit. You had K-pop Demon Hunters this year, bro. You've gotten so much hype from it that it's getting a release in theaters. People liked it that much. At least this movie was just shot onto Netflix for it to be forgotten about. I swear, Netflix is probably one of the most popular streaming services out there. Most of their output outside of a couple of shows just get left to the wayside. They are a massive slot machine. It hurts seeing so much talent behind this. Apparently from the director involved, he's scheduled to make some something that sounds like it could be more in line with Samurai Jack and Primal, so he does have time to redeem himself at least, whenever that ends up getting released. This is quite possibly one of the worst and just overall vile pieces of cinema I've seen in a long time. Usually I can stomach quote-unquote disturbing movies, but this had me open wide at the pure audacity of it. I felt so dirty watching this, I had to take a shower. I'm not kidding, dude. It's a shame to see such nice looking animation go to waste on a really disgusting movie which does nothing to justify a lot of really gross and boring stupid humor. In the lightest of terms, this is just a borderline done movie. It's another case of brain rot cinema, and I can safely say I never want to check this out again. Everyone who's worked on this needs to get their hard drives checked for sure. For my rating on this movie, I am very comfortable giving this half a star. I don't think any real effort or passion was put into this thing. Everyone involved is surely here for a paycheck because there's nothing here in the story that has any sort of real message aside from a very basic believe in yourself and just be yourself message, which has been done to death in so many other better actual kids movies, by the way. I've said it multiple times that this pile of dog shit is on Netflix, but as you can probably tell from my opinion, I hate every second of this with every fiber of my body. I am vibrating so violently even just talking about all of it. So you know what? Fuck you, Netflix. If you are as curious as I am to check this out, even though I basically spoiled the entire thing, it's a much better idea to pirate this thing. In fact, I wouldn't even go as far as that. Just don't watch this. Don't watch this at all. Watch anything else. Anything will be better than this. Hell, this movie may even be better than...
It's you! It's you!